Your nervous system relies on rapid electrical impulses to communicate. It is highly efficient, sending point-to-point signals exactly where they need to go, in fractions of a second. But there is a biological bottleneck. Nerve fibers do not physically connect to every single cell in your body, and those electrical bursts fade almost immediately after they fire. To maintain constant, long-term control over vital functions like your metabolism or blood pressure, your body requires a different strategy. It needs a wireless network that can broadcast continuous signals everywhere at once. That secondary network is the endocrine system, and its primary tool is the hormone. Biologically, a hormone is simply a non-nutrient chemical that acts as a messenger between cells. These messengers are incredibly potent. Your glands produce them in only trace amounts, but because they travel freely through your entire blood supply, they can reach and regulate tissues far beyond the reach of any nerve ending. Every chemical broadcast circulating in your blood right now is governed by a centralized command center hidden deep inside your brain, the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. This command center sits at the base of the brain, in a region called the diencephalon. The hypothalamus rests at the top, attached by a stalk to the pituitary gland, which is tucked safely inside a small bony cavity known as the sella turcica. The pituitary itself operates through two distinct delivery systems. The back half, or posterior pituitary, is essentially a neural extension of the hypothalamus. Hormones like oxytocin and the antidiuretic hormone, ADH, are manufactured upstairs in the hypothalamus and sent directly down these axons, where the posterior pituitary stores and releases them. The front half, the anterior pituitary, operates quite differently. To control this section, the hypothalamus releases its own regulatory hormones into a specialized portal circulatory system, washing chemical triggers directly over the anterior cells. This dual setup bridges the gap between our two internal networks. It allows the brain to take a sharp neural impulse and translate it into a massive, sustained chemical signal. Once triggered, the anterior pituitary initiates a series of major biological cascades. First, it releases TSH, or Thyroid Stimulating Hormone, which travels to the neck to activate the thyroid gland and dictate your baseline metabolism. Second, it deploys ACTH. This chemical targets the outer layer of your adrenal glands, stimulating them to secrete glucocorticoids, hormones that are absolutely critical for surviving physical stress. Third, it releases the gonadotropins, Luteinizing Hormone and Follicle Stimulating Hormone, which regulate the body's reproductive systems. In males, gonadotropins instruct the testes to synthesize androgens like testosterone and regulate continuous sperm production. In females, they coordinate a highly precise cycle, driving the development of ovarian follicles, triggering the exact moment of ovulation, and maintaining the corpus luteum to prepare the body for potential pregnancy. Through these pathways, the pituitary acts as a master amplifier. It takes localized, microscopic instructions from the brain and turns them into sweeping, coordinated actions across the thyroid, adrenals, and gonads. Because these chemical messengers are so powerful, the physical margins for error are incredibly slim. Even a microscopic misfire in production yields severe consequences. If the posterior pituitary fails to release enough ADH, the kidneys lose their ability to conserve water. This results in diabetes insipidus, a condition marked by massive, continuous fluid loss and severe dehydration. Or consider growth hormone. If the anterior pituitary secretes too much of it during childhood, before the growth plates have closed, it forces abnormal, accelerated bone growth, resulting in gigantism. If that exact same oversecretion happens in an adult, the long bones can no longer grow. Instead, the excess hormone thickens the bones of the face, hands, and feet. This condition, acromegaly, causes severe physical disfigurement and requires highly specialized medical intervention. The sheer scale of these clinical conditions proves a simple fact. The structural integrity of the human frame relies entirely on keeping these trace chemicals perfectly balanced. Take your metabolism, your response to stress, and your capacity to reproduce are all governed by this elegant, invisible chemical architecture. Your brain might process the world in rapid flashes of electricity, but your body lives by chemistry, all ruled by a command center no larger than a single pea.